Alright guys, welcome back to Blarco's Fish Room. Today we're going to be going over a couple of different things, but the main thing we're going to be talking about is our fish behavior. The behavior of the fish as they grow bigger, as their habitats change, as they go into different tanks, when they're around different types of fish, and other tank mates and all those kind of goodies. So that's what we're going to focus on today. You can see there's a whole different dynamic of behaviors that occur in a community aquarium like this. So I want to just go into a few of those and how you can actually have an effect on their behavior as well. So you can see, like with these guys, when you have a tank of grow outs, this is how you want to do it. You want to get them when they're quite small. So this fish that we've got on screen now, this is the red-headed Melaniaris, and it's probably about 5 inches at the moment. Ooh, look at that, the black belt on the redhead. Damn. So the red-headed Melanaris was, about an inch and a half when we got it, and now it's quite large, and they are potentially a very aggressive cichlid, but they're getting to the size where they're starting to have their own territories and everything in the tank. But because they've grown up with everything else in the tank, so they've grown up with the chocolate cichlids and the festes, and they've grown up with the black nasty in here every now and then, makes a surprise visit, but the riverlatus as well, whole bunch of different fish. And we've done it in a way that we've just put a whole bunch of different types of fish in the tank, to just grow out together, so that the aggression is dispersed. And these guys, we have had to get rid of a few for different reasons. Some have been too aggressive, some have been deformed, or some haven't grown how we wanted them to. But you have to do that as you go, and these are the fish that we're going to grow out in this tank. So like I said, we've got a whole different variety of fish in this tank. So we've got the Bicordi cichlid, Trimax, a few different Viejas. We've got the riverlatus, the black Jack Dempsey's, black nasty, the kissing gourami we've got there, Wanda. I think I said the festes already, and then there's the chocolate cichlid, or the emerald cichlid. And I think last but not least, there is the Bristlenose Catfish. We got 2 peppermint bristlenose, which are really cool. See if I can actually get a shot of them today. And just a common bristlenose, but they're just awesome at keeping everything clean and tidy in the tank. So back into fish behaviors. So first thing I want to touch on is what we can do as people, as hobbyists, to actually influence the behaviors of the fish. First thing you can do, you can rearrange the tank. You can change the scape of the tank. That can change the behavior of them, make them reassert different dominance, and have a look at their dominance chain. The next thing you can do is you can do massive water changes, which is really good. And you can also introduce new fish or take fish out. And if you take, for example, the most dominant fish out of a certain tank, all of a sudden there's a new fish that needs to be dominant, and there might be different fish fighting for the dominance. So, but generally speaking, fish behaviors are either based around 2 things. Either they're spawning, so breeding behaviors, so they might be more aggressive and have a tendency to lash out at the other fish, and the other thing would be just their growth. As the fish get bigger, their behaviors will change. They will get more aggressive, they will get more territorial, and they will show, each fish is individual, so they will show different individual signs of what they're going to behave like when they get larger. So, I mean, this Bicordi cichlid, this is actually the most chill fish in the tank, but these guys can be very, very aggressive. So it all comes down to the individual fish. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to touch on as terms of like what we can do to have an effect on their behavior. The other things that can have a serious effect on their behavior, I touched on it briefly before, is it depends what type of fish that you have in the tank with them. So in this tank, we're probably pushing the boundaries for having some aggressive fish in here, but I think we can get away with having the red terrors or the Feste cichlid. They're probably going to be our most aggressive fish in here, and can do the most damage, and they get pretty big as well. But we've also got that Trimac, which does a lot of damage, but the Festes probably take the cake in this tank. So that was a good shot. So yeah, that's the fish behavior. And just to kind of summarize the video, when we're talking fish behavior, we've got a community tank. So there's so many different things we need to take into consideration when we're looking at a community. Like, we've got 2 male red-headed Melaniaris, so red-headed Synspillum. If you just had 2 of those in a tank together, they would beat each other up all day long, no doubt. But because they're in a tank where they've got a lot of different fish around and they've got a lot of competition, they're pretty much best friends. They hang out all day and they're just relaxing. Same thing if you were to grab two Festes and put them in a tank together, 2 male Festes, they would butt heads. And I think we've got that here. I think this is a male, and I think that's definitely a male. And I think this is our little female. So I'll probably have to get rid of one of the males at some point. But that works because we are in this environment where they do have competition, and there is other fish to disperse the aggression, especially this little bastard here. Damn. She's looking good. She's looking healthy. Okay, and then what I want to show you as well is this tank down here to show you the other side of the behavior. So in this tank we have got 100% a breeding pair. Well, not 100%, but we've got a male and a female, and they have paired up 100%. So we've scaped this in a way where we've got a nice big cave that sits in the back, and the behavior of these guys is pretty gentle. These it's hard to see. There's I think that's the male, kind of in there. Yeah. Oh no, that's a female. That's a female, and you got the male coming through on the left. They tend to hang out in there. I'll see if I can get them out. Actually, I'll feed them some live black worms. They absolutely love that kind of stuff. So get some of these black worms here. Here they are. We'll see if they take them in one shot. If black worms doesn't get them out of hiding, I don't know what will. Well, they can see it. Let's back up a little bit. Let's see if they come out. But you can see just now, like, the different behavior. You've got 2 fish that have paired up and they've got a tank by themselves together. Admittedly, they might be a bit stressed out by the light that's really bright at the moment, just while I'm filming. But actually, let's turn the light down. Let's make it nice and romantic in there. Oh, yeah. All right, there we go. Turn it nice and dim for them. So this is the type of behavior that you're going to see from a pair of cichlids. So they're going to show signs of being, reserved, and they're going to show signs of being, more gentle towards each other. But once it comes time to spawning, they can totally flip and all of a sudden be insanely aggressive and turn on each other. And they might be, right now they're kind of laying together next to each other in the log, and all of a sudden you might have to divide them because they're doing damage to each other because of the spawning rituals and everything that happens. So there's definitely a lot of things to consider. I think if you're going to keep these kind of fish, you just need to do a little bit of research. It doesn't take much. Just go to, all I did was I just went down to my local pet store and just talked to a couple of people that, you know, I thought they knew what they were doing, and just build it from there. You know, all I've got in this tank is 2 sponge filters, a heater, and a little pump that just pumps the water around to give it a little bit of water rotation, and some rocks. And you know, I've got a breeding pair of Cichlosoma. Yeah, let's go with that for now. Cichlosoma, I think. Salvini. So yeah, I think we're gonna get the male to stick his head out there, but we might not be lucky today. Anyway, guys, that's just a little video I want to do on behavior of fish, and the different behaviors you can see, especially in the South American cichlids, because they are generally very, very aggressive fish, but definitely not in all cases.